We're live, we're live, we're live. All right, awesome, guys. So here's your mentor session for the month from Edwin Deras. Just here, going to cover a few questions today. A little bit about myself. My name is Edwin Deras. I'm based out of Maryland. I have 5 retail locations where we do different services like jewelry sales. We do money services transactions similar to like Western Union and MoneyGram. And we also have those 5 locations, we have three jewelry stores as well. And in addition to that, also have an Amazon FBA business where we sell a variety of different products, other branded products, you know, any chocolate bars, any type of thing you could think about, we sell it as long as it has some profit in it. So that's what's going on there. What's up, Todd? What's up, man? We're just having a talk with Todd earlier this week about Amazon, and you know, has a nice little business in there, and so that's what basically we're doing over here. So I'm gonna just get right to the questions. Anytime in between the month you guys have questions, feel free to just send me an email or just post it in the what's it called, in the Accelerators organization portal, and I'll try to get back to it as soon as I can. All right. So the first question we have here is from Sam Nika. She put here, what do you think the best method to learning e-commerce is? Drop shipping, getting a small inventory and doing it yourself, or something else? As I spoke about it to Sean, I want to learn e-commerce. Ever since that time, I thought about drop shipping, which also has its benefits. Has a huge language barrier problem, and most manufacturers don't custom design. On the other hand, getting my own inventory requires storage and more work. Is there any advice or suggestions? Thank you. So, what I'll say, Sam, there's a lot to this question. Like, I mean, first thing I would just say, do you have experience in drop shipping? I'm assuming because you're wanting to get into it, you don't at this moment, which is fine. I would say, like, if anything that you want to get into, you're gonna have to learn eventually, right? Not everybody starts knowing what they know, so you're gonna have to either learn from someone that does know, or just kind of go into courses, do as much, educate yourself, buy a course, learn from someone that already has a big website and has a lot of sales. I feel like that's the best method that you can choose to learn, is just from learning from someone that's already doing this. So like that's the main thing I would say about that. And you also mentioned here getting a small inventory and doing it yourself. Oh no, the other thing you said about drop shipping is that it has a huge language barrier problem and most manufacturers don't custom design. So another thing that I would say about this is, okay, dropshipping has a huge language barrier problem, and most manufacturers don't custom design. Like, what I would say about this is this thing. Any business that you get into, you're gonna have problems. You know, whether it's Sean Thomas, he has problems in his business that he has to solve. You know, Todd Ferguson, he has problems that he has to solve. I have problems that I have to solve. You know, every mentor, anybody that has a business has a problem it's gonna solve. So any business that you get into is gonna have a problem. So if there's people that are successful in drop shipping, if you reach out to some of them or buy some of their courses, or see people in the group that do drop shipping, they found a way to solve this problem of having a huge language barrier problem. That problem has been solved before by someone that's successful in drop shipping. So I would just say reaching out to those people and getting an answer. You know, I'm pretty sure, like, from the outside looking in, the problem looks bigger than it is, but once you're in there, I'm pretty sure that you can find a solution to it. Because, you know, not every, you know, I know a guy that sold like a couple websites for more than $1 million, and he has other websites that do millions of dollars also. And you know, he's American. He doesn't speak any other language, so he's found an issue. And a lot of even though they might not speak perfect English, I'm pretty sure that you are able to communicate with them. You know, on like Alibaba website, with phrase one example that a lot of dropshippers work with. So I would just say that, and then most manufacturers don't custom design. So another thing is, like, again, like, it's just a problem that any business owner, let's say that's a problem maybe specific that you see on the outside looking in, but it's a problem that you might need to solve. I would just say, for example, I do my Amazon FBA business when I work with distributors. In order to get one distributor, you might have to call a bunch of people. You might need to, like, reach out to a lot. And a lot of the big complaint about people that do Amazon FBA is, like, there's no profitable products out there, but they're probably not looking as deep and far as they need to, right? So I would just say these are two problems, and you're probably going to encounter way more problems, but that's going to come with any type of business that you choose. Problems are going to come up. And then you put here, you asked also, was going to say getting a small inventory and doing it yourself. So again, whichever model you choose, either one is going to have issues, its own set of issues that come with it. And then, you know, maybe if you have your own inventory, you might not have to deal with the huge language issue, but regardless, it's still going to be a problem either way. There's different sets of problems that come. There's different sets of opportunities, and you're going to want to look what is the business model that you want to choose, and just kind of do your best to focus on one thing. Because if you're focusing on drop shipping and then you're focusing on having your own inventory, maybe you can have a blended model once you find out something that works, right? You can carry your own inventory once you realize, okay, this product is doing very well, I'm able to sell it. You're able to generate your own demand based on your Facebook ads or your whatever type of ads you're doing to drive traffic. And then if you're able to do that, then you can maybe transition into having your own inventory. So again, like, you want to just reach out to someone that knows what they're doing, and then that way you can get, you know, you're able to cut years worth of mistakes. You can cut it into a phone call or two or a couple, but you're going to have to kind of continuously invest in learning and applying this stuff, right? All right. Number 2 question here is from Rosalie. Rosalie says, let me see here. How do you get out of your own way to reach your goals in business? I have a small accounting firm. I keep sabotaging myself, and I want to be intentional to stop the self-sabotage. All right, awesome. So great questions, Rosalie. So there's a couple of things I'll say about this, and I feel like maybe it's not the answer you're looking for, but something that helped me out a lot, just overall. I feel like just watching so the question you asked, you said, is how do you get yourself out of your own way? And I would just say, like, a lot of times, a lot of words that we say to ourselves actually affects us subconsciously a lot. Like, let's say if you talk about a relationship, or let's say, like, for example, someone gets out of a long-term relationship and they say, you know, I'm carrying around a lot of baggage. Like, you might seem like that word baggage it's just a word that you say, or just like a saying, but that baggage is real. Like, your subconscious actually understands that baggage, like, something's holding you down. So when you say things like that, it actually I think it affects you, and it really does. So, like, when you say, how do you get yourself out of your own way? Like, I would say, in my opinion, it's just like, do you want to get yourself out of your own way, right? Because you need all of you to do whatever it is you want to do, whether it's, you know, go to the gym, or, you know, eat healthy, or lose weight, or gain weight, or, you know, or to be sick, or to reach your business goals. So I would say, number one thing I would just say first is kind of just see the words that come out. Is like, I always try to say it like this. Like, one of my mentors says to me is like, you know, the better quality question that you ask yourself, the better quality answer you're gonna get. So if I wake up in the morning, I'm like, damn, Edwin, why are you so ugly? Like, my brain is gonna answer the question. But if I wake up and I'm like, Edwin, damn, why are you so fine? My brain is gonna come out with a question. It's gonna say, Edwin, you're so fine because of this, and that. So every little thing, the better the question that you ask yourself, the better answer that you're gonna get. So I would just kind of say that is like, this question may be a better question. In my opinion, might be like, would be like, how do you reach your goals in business? Like, something simple like that, or even more specific, how do I get $100,000 monthly goal, or something like that, right? So I would just kind of say that, and to answer that question, I would just want to see, like, I would want to see the question be a little bit more specific. I mean, you might want to say, how do I reach a $10,000 goal, or a $20,000 monthly goal? How do I earn $100,000 a goal, right? A month, or how do I earn $2,000? So kind of looking at something that's very specific. That way, your brain will find a way to reach that. If you're doing X amount of revenue a month right now, how do you get that to the next level, right? And so, like, that's what you want to ask, something that's very specific. Or do you want to get yourself to where, you know, you're not doing all the accounting work, you have other people doing it, you have a team behind you. So, like, that might be another question. So I would just say, being a little bit more specific with the comments and the questions that you're asking yourself is going to get you that much closer to where you want to get to, right? So I would just say that. And like, for example, you might want to say, you know, how do I get the dream income? But that's kind of vague too. You might want to put a number on that type of stuff, right? So I would just say that for that part. And and another thing that I put on here also is like, for me, when I was first starting out, I felt like I would make these huge goals, right? And I felt like I wasn't able to hit the targets that I was wanting to hit. And so like, one of the things that I started to do, I was like, you know what? Instead of making these huge targets, how about I just do like a simple goal? So like, I started doing like a 20% increase per year or 30%. And I feel like that was more believable to me. And so that was something that helped me out a lot more, just because I was able to kind of like believe, okay, I can do 20% increase, or I can do a 15% increase. So like, just believing in these small numbers, I feel like it's something that helped me just, how do I say this, just go for it. Because sometimes if we put out such a huge number out there, sometimes your brain might not believe it. So I think that's just something that works for me. But like, you know, there's other people, like if you talk to Nick, for example, Nick Brand, a mentor in the group, he's going big and hitting these big goals also. Like, he's like, I want to hit 200% growth, and he hit that. So like, sometimes it just depends on your personality. I feel like sometimes a big goal is great for the right person. Sometimes like a more believable goal is an even better fit, can be a better fit. So I think either way can be a great option. All right, so the next question, I put, what's it called? Tatiana Mehmeti. She asked, what are some ways I can reward my employees to keep them motivated and excited in a quick service type restaurant? Business description. The summer gets really busy and we want to do something exciting where we give someone a $500 to $1,000 bonus at the end of the season. I was thinking to have a chart to keep track so people can get really excited. I don't want it to be cutthroat competition. I want the team to work well together, and I want them to feel appreciated. Okay, let me see here. This is a great question. I'm glad you asked this, because this is something I went through this year. What are some ways I can reward my employees to keep them motivated and excited in a quick service type restaurant? So I did, like, I saw your email here, so I went on your website and I was looking at, you know, what you have. Saw you have 3 locations that you guys sell juices and like some small food items and stuff like that. Okay, so look, I'll tell you one of the things that I implemented, and I feel like almost any business can implement this. Most businesses, maybe not on my Amazon, because that's more like everything's online, but like especially in-person businesses can do this. And I feel like what I don't know if I like the, okay, so I'll say this. I don't know if I like, is that I don't say you don't have to follow what I'm saying, but because I will say I don't like the idea of, maybe you can do it, fine, I'm going to say you can do it, but I'm going to tell you what I did and why I feel like it didn't work with me. So in my jewelry store, I used to do commissions. It would be like every 6 months or at the end of the year. So like, it was very long periods of time. So you're talking about a 3-month period, I'm assuming, right? So like, that would be shorter than 6 months, what I was doing. But when I was doing commissions on a 6 month basis to a year basis, it's like so far away that like, you're not really like, you just kind of lose track and you don't really care anymore. Like, it's so long away, you don't even see it. So starting in January, what I started doing a monthly commission. You know, based on this last sales, everybody gets their commission paid either on the first or the second week of the month. And, okay, so that's number one. And they have to have a minimum amount of sales to reach that, which everybody now reached it, where they didn't reach it before. So I set a minimum amount of sales. So, like, let's say if you have someone that works for 2 days, you're not going to get any commissions on maybe if they just sold like $100 or something like that, 100 worth of juices and they never came back. You might want to set a minimum. So that's number one, just doing like commission. And then number two, I set up a weekly prize for the person that sells the most. So what I do is I do 2% on the jewelry sales, and I do an additional, an additional $25 gift card per $1,000 of sales. So that you got to work, see what numbers work with you. Like, you're in the restaurant industry, so those minor numbers might be too high. I don't know what your business is doing per month per store, and what the margins are looking like. But I would just say you want to see, maybe kind of like play with the numbers. And if you're like, you know what, I don't know, like that's too much money. But like, if you think that's too much money, then so you say we give someone a $500 to $1,000 bonus. Would that be per person? So if it's per person and you have 10 people, that's already about what, like, let's say 5,000 to 10,000. So what I would prefer to see, and what I do is give like that weekly prize and then give like a monthly commission. That way, people are motivated to sell, because if they're at the register, like if they're at the register, they're not getting any commission. And by the way, what I say, by implementing this, I was able to almost 3 times our revenue and profits on our jewelry by just doing this alone. By doing this thing alone, because people are motivated. Like if they're not going to get a commission what they're doing. They're just like a grocery clerk, grocery store clerk, just ringing you up and like, what do you want? That's it. But if they know they're going to get another commission at the end of the month based on what they sold, they can give recommendations. I really love this. They're going to add a little bit more enthusiasm to what they're offering. They're going to say, you know what, we also offering this, I don't know, the meals that you have, avocados, spread or something like that. Would you like to add that to your juice today or something like that? So they're going to be more motivated to actually cross-promote your products and cross-promote any loyalty program that you have. They're gonna have excitement. They're gonna maybe want to invite their friends to come have juices there, because you know what? They're also they like the place, they like where they work, but they're also gonna get a commission because they're the person that's ringing them up and kind of there at that place. So that can motivate somebody to do that a bit extra. And so like a lot before I implemented this, I was like thinking of the thought like, and by the way, I didn't have I had commissions for certain people, and I had commissions for everybody. So I implemented commission, and for the people that were getting commissions, they got an increase. So all across the board, it just went up. Everything went up. So I would just say, like, a lot of times you might think like, wait, but like if I do that, I'm gonna be paying this and just for that. So that's why you might want to put the minimums, because if they're just doing the minimum, then they might not get it. But I think that you'll see that people will do extra things that you wouldn't think, because they are getting a benefit from it. So like people started passing out flyers. They made their own flyers. They started telling people. They were like, upset if they were in a location that didn't have jewelry and stuff like that. So in your case, I feel like that would be a good problem to have. And if you just do like a flat $500, $1,000 bonus without any revenue, then what's the benefit? I mean, they're gonna get the bonus anyway. If it's not tied to any type of revenue or profits, they might just like, oh, okay, what's the point? We're gonna get a bonus anyway, So I think I would. That's something that I would consider. And let me see one other thing. I think that's the main things that I put here. Yeah. Oh, and then and then the weekly prize. Okay, the weekly prize part that I was gonna say about is so the weekly prize can be, since you have 3 locations, unless you have more that are not on the website, you can do for the top person that sells the most per week. So like between all your locations, so like you can do like, all right, this store, this person rung up the most sales this week, and you like kind of, if you guys have a group chat, you can publicly recognize. Be like, all right, Nicole from store over here sold rung up this amount of sales this week. And then you'll find eventually, like, there's a lot of people that are always at the top of the list. They're always at the top of the list because they're probably the people that are promoting the most. They're like trying to bring repeat traffic. And so what I was going to say is that you're going to see, and then other people will kind of want to rise and also be a prize winner, right? So I feel like you'll find that can be something that will help you out a lot. All right, let me see. I'm going to the next question. Martina Wank, she says, how do I motivate myself and my workers not to give up in the beginning of our business? I run a home health care business in Switzerland. I am a nurse by trade. Doctors and hospitals refer patients to me, and I build insurance companies for services we provide. I'm a new company, and I want to keep my new team motivated and inspired as we grow. I'm looking for tips on how to do that. Thanks. All right, this is a great question. I'm assuming you're maybe 3 months or less. If you said you're new into the business, or maybe 6 months or less. That you said you want to keep your team motivated and inspired as we grow, making you want to feel this way. So I'm just curious to know, like, what's making you feel like they need to be inspired and motivated? Do you feel like they're uninspired and unmotivated right now? I'm curious to know if there's something behind it. Have they said a comment, or have they like been missing work? Are people quitting? Like, what's the environment looking like that's causing you to want to feel like you want them to be motivated and inspired, right? I'm curious to know about that. And then you said, how do I motivate myself not to give up in the beginning of our business? Again, here I would just ask, it kind of, I would just ask again about the question. I kind of mentioned with Rosalie, I would say like if you ask yourself a certain type of question, you're gonna get a certain type of answer. So like if I would, instead of asking like how do I know you're trying to get to the right thing, but I'm just saying like how do I motivate myself from not giving up type of thing. I would just say number one, I would just say I would change the question around number one. So instead of saying maybe how do I stop myself from wanting to give up on my business, how can I make my business even more successful? How can I grow my business in 20% over the next 6 months or the next year? How can I grow my business 10% or 30%? You know, you're a new business, so I'm assuming you're having more growth than normal maybe right now. Or, and that's another question I'll ask, are you profitable right now? Are you losing money? You know, because if you're losing money, then that's kind of tough. How long do you have before all your money runs out? Or are you already profitable on day one, which is great, right? So you kind of want to look at that. How are you doing with your money situation? So yeah, I would just say that, like, you say, how do you stop yourself from giving up? I would just say, first changing the question, how can you be more successful? How can you grow it? Like just getting more clarity, like what is it? What's going on? What's making you feel like giving up? You know, and I feel like as a new owner and a new business, a lot of times it takes a while to be profitable, right? It takes a while to actually see the returns on your time and then on your effort. So I would just kind of take it one step at a time. Do your best to surround yourself with positive energy, watching these mentor sessions, going to an AO Live event, reading audiobooks, getting on the phone with any of the mentors in the group, listening to podcasts that are related to what you're doing, going to the trade show that's related to what you're doing, modeling from the people that are doing the best about what you're doing. You know, just doing that and just kind of seeing what is it that you're looking to get out of this. Is it a paycheck? Is it a vision that you're seeing out of this company? Like how big, or you know, how big do you want this company to be? Do you want to be hands off with this business at some point? Or do you want to always be like in the front of the line? Like, I'm not, what I mean in the front lines, I mean doing what you're doing right now. Do you want to be more hands off, or like, you know, what's the type of vision that you have behind it? Because that vision, if you see something long term, like then you start to see like, all right, I'm gonna do this now because later on I can hire this out, or I can do this out, I can hire this out. So I would just kind of get clear what it is that you want, kind of painting that vision for where it is that you want to go. That way that you're clear on what the direction is. Because if you're looking, let's say like 6 months out, how do I stop myself from quitting tomorrow? Like that's, you know, it's easy to get upset, especially at the beginning, because every business at the beginning can be difficult, right? So I would just kind of look at it from that perspective, kind of just making the vision as clear as you can be, and something that's enticing and then gets you excited, right? That's the thing that I would say about that. All right, let me see. Next question. Okay, Tatiana Mehmeti, she says, I have an employee that left to go to work for another restaurant and just messaged me to let me know it didn't work out and if she could have her job with us back. What should I do? I own a smoothie bowl juice bar. We have been having issues with employees lately, and many leaving due to their senior year being over and them wanting to have a fun summer, and a few who graduated college and now pursuing their career. Lately, some high school students are leaving to go get a summer temp jobs that pays cash, or in the case of an employee that left to go to work at a restaurant owned by a family friend or to receive more tips. I had a conversation with this employee letting her know we appreciate her, and if there's anything we could do, we could try to accommodate. She said she loved her job but wanted to go get cash tips. Here 2 weeks later, we replied to her to let her know it was nice to hear from her and apologize for things that didn't work out. I told her that I want to talk next week. How would you handle this? This is a really great question. So there's a lot of factors that go into this. And I'm pretty sure that's why, you know, you're asking this, because there's a lot of factors that go into this type of question. Number one, I would just say, because I know I've been having trouble hiring people lately. I don't know, maybe it might be with the government stuff, you know, people getting paychecks and these paychecks from the government, but that stuff supposedly is ending soon. But I would just say, like, my number one thing I would ask you is, like, are you having trouble hiring people in the first place? Because if you're having trouble hiring people in the first place and you're not getting people coming in and wanting to have a job, then I would say definitely I would hire her back, because if you're having a labor shortage right now, then I would just take her back in a snap of a finger, because even though you might not want to, you might have to, because you're short on staff, and then maybe you're heading into your busy season. You don't want to be left with short staff any of your locations, right? That's what the first thing that will come to mind. But let's say pre labor shortage, I would normally just say, this is my company though. I mean, what I mean is, for my company, the way I've handled it is, people that have left and wanted to come back, we just say no, for the most part. Because the thing is that, like, for my business, I do jewelry, but I also do money services, a lot of cash handling, and a lot of training is involved. So we can't have people just picking up and going. But your business is different because you're doing juice bars, so I'm assuming the learning curve is less steep than what we do. So a lot of times we invest heavily into like training, having them operate all these systems, all the reports that they do. So there's a lot of training that goes into what we do. Like, we have people like that train them for a month or so, and then there's ongoing training that we do. So we don't want just people upping and leaving and then like, oh, they left, now they can come back. Nah, like, we don't do that. So that's just my business, how we've operated that in the past. But right now with the labor shortage, if that happened to me right now and if someone came back 2 weeks later, I would be happy, because I'm having trouble hiring people right now. So my situation has changed. If that were to happen to me, I might let them back in, just because I am in need of people. But if I wasn't in need of people, I would just say no. Okay? But that's just because of how much we do initial training and ongoing training. And we don't want to create the culture where people can just leave 1 week and then come back the next. Like, that's not what we want to have happen. But if there's a labor shortage going on, I would say that you might need to make an exception, right? Now, this kind of cool because it ties into what the previous question you asked about the commission. So like now, this person, people are leaving because they want to get paid cash. They're leaving because they want to get tips. They're leaving because they want a little bit more compensation. So like if you look at that perspective, like having that, having the monthly commissions put in place, having the weekly prizes in place. Those are like extra incentives that people are saying, no, but I'm getting a monthly commission. I'm getting monthly commission based on how much I sell. And so like that is an extra incentive to keep people that do want to be rewarded for an extra reward, right? So like right now, like what's the reward if they're the best salesperson that you have at the front desk and they're the nicest person and the people, they're like, hey, let's go to that location because, Mary is so nice and she gave me some really cool recommendations that I loved. And she recommended these meals that were delicious. And so, like, and that person's not even getting a cut, not even getting a commission for doing it. So, like, why don't you just go work at a McDonald's or something? Maybe you guys pay more than a McDonald's, but, like, you see what I'm saying is, like, those people that are doing the best have an ability to get rewarded in that scenario, right? So that's another reason that you might want to have this, because you're losing people to like people that want to go get paid these cash tips and stuff. So I mean, you can't, maybe you're not going to be like a server where maybe making more tips, or a bartender or something like that. But at least they're going to have some sort of pay that's tied to what they're to what they're doing at the register and offering cross selling to the people that you have there. All right, and then let me see here. Another thing I'll say here also, I don't know if it applies to you, maybe it doesn't. It's just like when you're hiring people, like one of the things that I always like to do is I like to look at their job history. And I know it's kind of, our business is different, but like I always like to look at the people's job history. Like, have they been working? Have they have a steady job? I know you. What's it called? If you hire somebody that's had a job a year or two here, a lot of times they'll stick with. People are kind of consistent. A lot of times people are consistent in life. What I mean is, like, based on their past history, a lot of times projects, your future performance, right? So I like to look at people that have worked a year here, 8 months here, 2 years here, 3 years here, because those people, I know that they're gonna stick with me. They're not gonna be here with 2 months and then leave. But I know that you said your business picks up in the summer, so I don't know how much more you ramp up for the summer in order to meet that demand. But I'm wondering how many people work with you year round. So I'm just something to consider. Like, if you have people coming and going, that's kind of hard to kind of build a relationship with your customers, I would say. but you kind of maybe take a look at that, or maybe you've done that before and you found it doesn't work. But I would just kind of take that into consideration. All right, next question is from Martina Wank. She says, how to get stronger in motivating myself. I run a home health care business in Switzerland. I'm a nurse by trade. Doctors and hospitals refer patients to me, and I build insurance companies for services we provide. I sometimes feel I lose motivation and direction. How do I stay on track and keep motivated and moving forward? Thanks. All right. So Martina, I'm glad you asked this. So it's kind of similar to the question you asked before, but it's a little bit different, right? The last question you had asked was, how do I motivate myself and my workers not to give up in the beginning of our business? And this question is, how do I get stronger in motivating myself? So like one thing that I'll add to this question, because I see the kind of like a theme going, which is great. And one thing I'll say about just asking a question like this is like, just by asking this question, you're separating yourself from a lot of people in the world. Because one, not everybody even wants to get better. Some people are just comfortable where they are at the moment, and they're just kind of like floating through life. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? But what I'll say is that, like, at least you asking questions shows that you want to improve what you have going on and improve the direction that you're going in. So that's really great. So one of the things that I'll mention is, I feel like one of the things I'll say is just that, you know, I will recommend, if you're kind of on this theme of motivating yourself, not wanting to give up, like you're in a new business, everything is new, you're setting up processes, you're kind of like just kind of winging a lot of stuff, I would imagine, if this is new to you, right? And this is the first business that you're doing, I would just say like kind of taking 30 minutes just to kind of feed your mind every single day, watching a mentor session, reading an audiobook, learning something new, reading a book related to your business, reading a book about leadership, listening to audiobook about this, or, any of those things, hopping on a mentorship call or a coaching call or something like that. All those little things are things that allow you to kind of get the experience of someone that has been there, and not in the exact same shoes as you, but has at least been in these leadership situations, which is what you're in, right? You're in a leadership situation where you're guiding a team of people that are depending on you, so that, they're depending on how you do, is if they're able to feed their family and stuff like that. So I would just say kind of feeding your mind 30 minutes a day. I've invested a lot of money in myself. More than 100K on mentors, on coaches, on seminars, and a bunch of other stuff. Just reading books, or seminars and trade shows and stuff like that, and how do I say it, like seminars in my business and stuff like that. And I feel like, but you don't need to do that all at once. You could just, you invest in yourself by joining AO, the AO, and additional things you could do is just small things, just audiobooks, things like that are things the way you can feed your mind every single day. All right, so that's what I'll say about that. And then what's gonna say, the next question comes from Brad Coleman. How would you boost sales on Amazon? Hello, I own an e-commerce luxury brand where we manufacture and sell apparel. I have recently joined Amazon Seller to try and get more exposure. I know there's a lot to this platform. Would you recommend hiring a specialist to help sell? If so, where would I find someone to help strengthen and strategize my account? Elevator pitch. My name is Brad Coleman, founder of Carbon Thread Designs, a luxury auto sport apparel fashion brand that creates and designs apparel for the auto enthusiasts while incorporating carbon fiber into our designs. Okay. This is a great question. So, Brad, I was kind of going through the post you made in the group, and I saw that I think you got an investor. You recently got your first your first items in I think a month or two ago, and you're getting started. And then I have more questions than I maybe have answers. Like I would wonder. Like I think you said you sold a couple $100 worth of stuff, and then you're kind of in the process of setting everything up. So I would wonder like what is your revenue up to this point? And so there's a lot of things I would say here. Like number one, like it's important to see where can you focus your energy at, right? Because like you're saying, how can I hire somebody to should I hire a specialist? You could hire a specialist. You could do it yourself. You could also sell to boutiques. You can sell it yourself on your own website. You can go to trade shows and sell. You can go to special events and sell. I think it's about testing out some of these things and seeing what works best for you. You know, like what if you, so I think I saw that you were looking to sell to some wholesalers, or you had sold to a website or something like that. Why not go that route, selling to sellers? I mean, to boutiques. You know, that's how one of the mentors has one of the luxury brands did first. They started selling to a bunch of boutiques, and then they started going direct to consumer, and then they sell on Amazon, I believe, and they sell in these big department stores. So I feel like, and I don't know what your team is looking like. Is it you? Is it you and a team of 50 people? Like, what is that looking like? What's the capital that you have to invest in this stuff? So like, what I would say, if you're gonna invest in Amazon, like, how much money are you willing to put into this thing? Because you're gonna be starting the brand from scratch. Because I also looked up your brand on Amazon. I didn't see any listings that came up. So I would just say, like, at the minimum, you might want to maybe create 10 listings or something like that and have it up there. That way you at least have a little bit of exposure with your brand. But what I say is, like, if you have your own brand, you're going to want to do PPC marketing to drive traffic to your products. And then you might, you know, you can go that route. But I would just say overall, maybe get clear on what direction you want to go in. Because if you're kind of doing 10 different things, unless you have a limited amount of money, that's going to be costly, right? And even if you have an unlimited amount of money, I don't think, I think it's, you might want to focus on one area first, and then that way you can get really good at that, and then you can incorporate other avenues, you know, maybe selling to boutiques, or maybe going through your website, selling through your own website, or going through Amazon, you know, because like you're giving up a 15% or more cut just for being in apparel, you know, being apparel on Amazon. So, but that's another avenue you could sell it through, right? So I would just say that, kind of maybe focus, decide what area you want to focus on first before kind of like spreading yourself too thin, I would say. The last question here is from Martina Wank. She says, how can I stop being so nervous and shy if I need to talk with the most important people and some things I need to do? How can I stop being nervous and shy if I need to talk with important people about some things I need for my company to grow? Okay. Business subscription. It says primary nursing, taking care of patients at their home after hospital or accident or diseases. Okay, great question. So Martina, what I would say is, like, how do I stop being nervous and shy if I need to talk with important people? Like, who are these important people? That's what I would want to say. Who are these important people? That way I can kind of see who you're talking about. Are you talking about vendor? Or I mean, are you talking about like the insurance companies? Are you talking about your coach? Are you talking about potential clients? About hospitals? I guess regardless of who you're talking to, I think it's all about practicing and role playing. You know, when we do something that's always great in any sales environment is role play, practicing, you know, what it is that you're going to say. You know, because like, let's say if you kind of are winging it, then you're going to be like, you're going to be kind of, I might even do that all the time, right? But like, if you have it pat down, you know what to say, then you're going to be more crisp with what you're saying. You're going to be, you know, thinking more clearly. So I think it's just about practicing. Some people, it comes more natural to like not be shy and nervous. Everybody gets shy and nervous, but maybe people have different ways of expressing it, right? So I would just say practice, because you can have a very successful company even if you are shy and get nervous. Everybody gets nervous. I get nervous. Sometimes before these calls I get nervous. I'm like, okay, wait, okay. I'm like 3 minutes late. 4 minutes late. I'm about to be 20 minutes late or something like that. But you know, I still do it, right? So eventually you're gonna find that you're gonna be nervous. That's not something that's gonna go away. The shyness might not go away. It's okay. It's just knowing that it's there and practicing it. Because if you practice it, that way you'll do a lot better overall, I would say. And that kind of also goes back with the theme of just kind of listening to different things throughout the day, just kind of getting you in that mindset, surrounding yourself with people that have been there and have leadership things to say, and then you can kind of pick. You don't have to pick up everything that they say, right? But if you pick up out of 20 things that they say, and you pick up one good idea, that one good idea you can implement it immediately with your team, right? So I would say that overall. So that's the last question I have for today. And I'll say I appreciate you guys for listening in. Any other questions, just drop them in the portal. And I'll see you guys next month. See you guys. Bye-bye.